Good afternoon. My name is Frank Walsh. I'm the Township Manager for Meridian Township. And joining me is Mike Hamill, our Fire Chief. I'm here to announce to the public, to our community, um, the opening of an internal investigation regarding a Facebook posting that occurred in the last 24 hours by a member of our fire department. The first thing I want to do is apologize to Black Lives Matter. We've reached out to them today. We hope to hear back from the group yet today, but our sincere and deepest apologies for the posting that has occurred. We celebrate and welcome diversity in this community, and this posting in no way reflects the values and the soul of Meridian Township. I also want to apologize to our community. We have a very educated and diverse community here in Meridian Township. One that is very welcoming, and we're known for our diversity, not just in the region, but throughout the state. And again, the comments that were posted on Facebook in the last 24 hours do not reflect our community and our soul. I want to thank the woman in Virginia, who I don't plan to name today, but without her, we may not be aware of what occurred. And I want to also especially recognize the Meridian Township Fire Department. The actions that have occurred in the last 24 hours in no way reflect the professionalism of the men and women who serve this community. When we're needed, we're there, and we serve all lives, and all lives matter to our community and to our fire department. And also not a reflection on our chief. I have the utmost respect and support for Chief Hamill. What's occurred in the last 24 hours has stained the soul of this community. And we're here because we're not going to hide from the truth and the facts that are before us. While there will be due process and there will be an investigation, we felt it was important to get out front and get ahead and be transparent to the community. This community welcomes diversity, and I'll give you a couple examples of that. Our township board, led by Supervisor Steika, and the actions of many, has set aside a lot of money in the last few years to attract diverse police candidates. And I'll give you, for instance, just 3 years ago, we noticed a terrific young man who we thought would be a great addition to our police department, Lorenzo Velasquez. He worked at Kohl's. We approached him and said, "You'd make a good police officer. We want you. We'll pay for your academy. We'll pay you your wages that you earn at Kohl's through the entire academy." He's been a great officer for us the last 2 years. Just this last Monday, I happened to be in a local retail establishment and was served by a terrific young black male. His name is Javon. And I offered Javon a job on the spot. Same offer we made to Lorenzo. Come and join our ranks. You're who we want. And he's giving serious consideration to that. We just don't talk the talk here in Meridian Township. We walk the walk, and it's led by our township board, our human resource department, and Chief Plaga and Chief Hamill. So what occurred? In the last 24 hours in Fairfax, Virginia, a high school, Robert E. Lee High School, the Board of Education voted, as much as we can tell at this point until the investigation is complete, to change the name of the high school. It was reported on ABC, I think it was WJLA, about the potential name change at the high school. Several people commented on it. And it appears, although an investigation will go forward and due process will take place, it appears that one of our firefighters put on BLDM. And after several people asked him, what does that mean? Comments were made about, am I stuttering? Do I need to clear my throat? And finally, The comment is, they don't. Interpreted to, Black lives don't matter. When I first heard about this at 10:45 last night, I felt the soul of this community be challenged, be stained, and this is not what we stand for. Whatever the outcome of the investigation is, I want everyone to know this is not acceptable in Meridian Township. Again, I want to thank the woman in Virginia who was so dismayed by this explosive comment that she posted on our website. She contacted us. She did all the right things that a brave person would do. At this point, I want to share with you the screenshot of what was shared with us with the names being removed. So here you can see the school board in Fairfax County, as I mentioned, Robert Lee High School, votes unanimously to change their name. The comment, the top center, BLDM. Some people ask, what does that mean? It's repeated, BLDM, BLDM. Do I need to clear my throat? I didn't stutter. And then somebody says, well, what do you mean by that? They don't. So that is what is before us. It's, again, there'll be an internal investigation into what occurred. And all I can tell you is that as we've had discussions internally here with members of the township board, with our leaders here in the police department, our fire department, the one thing that came out of this was we're a very welcoming, diverse community. That's what we're known for. That's why people want to move here. And we're not going to allow anyone to stain the soul of our community. This investigation, we don't expect will take long. I've asked our human resource department and Chief Hamill to have this wrapped up in the next 48 hours. The individual that is alleged to have made these comments is not on duty in the next 48 hours. And so again, we hope to have this wrapped up certainly by Friday. Let me reiterate, Meridian Township is welcoming, we're diverse, and we celebrate that. That's the spirit of this community. Our township board has passed many resolutions about us being a very welcoming community. Again, by the examples I've given you earlier, we walk the walk here. Although there's an investigation to be completed, the comments themselves attributed to Meridian Township, we want to offer again our sincere apology to Black Lives Matters, our community, and we stand in unison with our fire department. They're the best men and women that we could have in our department. There will be a future press conference in the next 48 hours as we wrap up the investigation. I appreciate your time today, and we would open it up to any questions that you may have. Stephen, maybe you can help us out if there are any questions out there.
There is a question coming from Jackie Hemmon. I am worried about the statement saying that all lives matter. Does this person speaking acknowledge that he needs to say Black Lives Matter and we need to be dedicating time and resources to ensure that Black Lives Matter within the police and practices? Have you thought about doing an all-encompassing equity audit into the entire government, including the police and fire department? 2, it is not the explicit racist comments that need to be addressed. There's racism ingrained in every system and structure in the U.S., including in this township. It is not enough to say that we are welcoming and diverse. We must ensure that our policies and practices match that.
Yeah, that's a good question and a statement. Our police department does go under, has experienced racial bias training, de-escalation training, and several other trainings that go along to what the caller suggested. Can we do more? Yes. Will we do more? Yes. In fact, we're having a community conversation on policing that'll be scheduled in August that Chief Plagman will be leading. So I would not disagree that there's certainly a lot more we can do, but I think it's a good place to start about being welcoming and diverse. And we've increased our diversity in our police department significantly in the last 4 years. We are going to continue our efforts to get better, to learn, and to explore all of these issues. And I thank you for that question.
That is the only question that came in on question and answer. If there's someone who'd like to ask a question audibly, we can have you raise your hand and I can allow you to speak if that would be preferable. And I'm not seeing any raised hands. I'm not seeing any more questions in the question and answer.
All right. I want to thank everyone for their time today.
Frank, as soon as I said that, someone has raised their hand. We have somebody identified as Dorcia Chasen. I'm going to allow her to speak. Ms. Chasen, you have the floor.
So I just have a question. I heard what's said. I look forward to hearing additional information about the follow-up and the investigation. But how can someone like myself or other community members assist you, any one of you, in your jobs? Like, you know, how can we further the cause of, yes, Black Lives Matter as well as all lives, but how can we become involved and what can we do? And, you know, like, I know everybody's time is precious, but sometimes individuals don't know what to do to further a cause or to make an impact upon an area that is perceived as a deficit. So I would just be curious, and you could say nothing now, or there's lots of things or something like that.
Well, thank you for the question. There's always an opportunity to be better and always an opportunity to learn more. And I'm really pleased at and proud of all the training that we have, but there's more to do. And we're going to be reaching out in the coming months, in the coming weeks, to find out, and maybe what's occurred in the last couple of months in this nation has given us new rise to be a whole lot better in everything that we do, including understanding race and being more welcoming, being more diverse. And all I can tell you is that Meridian Township is welcoming to however the community thinks that they can help us. I know that we're going to have a community conversation coming up on community policing, and we welcome. If you've got some ideas, contact me. But we're not just going to go through these issues in a silo. We're going to be very involving a lot of other people as we work through these community issues that are not just prevalent in Ingham County, they're prevalent throughout the country. And one thing I can commit to you today is, although we're more diverse and we've done a lot of training, there's opportunity to be better. And we plan to do so. Anyone else?
Frank, we have another couple of questions that have come in. Hang on one second. From an anonymous attendee, they're asking what exactly is being investigated, the repercussions of the behavior. I think they probably meant the repercussions or the behavior, and I'll let you respond to that.
Yeah, I want to be very careful what I say about the investigation because everyone is entitled in this country to due process. And that's what we're going through over the next 24 to 48 hours. We plan to absolutely talk to the individual. We plan to talk to people who made comments about the comment that was made, a thorough investigation, and I expect it to be completed in the next 48 hours. And all I can tell you is we're a very welcoming and diverse community, and that is our soul. And no one's going to stain that soul.
And then there was a question about Mr. Styka, and he's responded to that directly in the question and answer section. we have another question. When I hear the township has increased diversity, I'm curious to know which race, gender was discriminated against to meet the township diversity targets.
Well, we've never set out to discriminate against anyone. We've taken extraordinary steps to increase our diversity in the township, and we're making great strides in that. We've hired more women. We've hired more Blacks. We've hired more Hispanics, and we are continuing our efforts. When you're a community and you go out and actually search for new police officers, when you talk to individuals who are in landscaping and others, retail, and you go out and you give them a career in law enforcement or in the fire service, that's strides that most communities are not taking. I'm not saying it's enough. And we're going to continue to try to do all we can to diversify our internal staff. But I'm proud of the efforts we've made, especially in the last 4 years. Our numbers are up, and we'll continue to look throughout the community, throughout the region. And we're putting our money behind it too. There's not a lot of departments, police departments out there that will pay for you to go through the academy. It's a very expensive process, and also pay your wages as you go through. It's an aberration among governments, and I'm proud that the board has led the way on that. Anyone else, Stephen? If not, I think that's it. I thank you all for your attention today, and please know,
Frank, I'm terribly sorry. There are more questions that are coming in. I'm doing 3 things at one time, but the next question was, how long will the officer be off duty until the investigation is completed? That's a question.
We hope to have the investigation completed in 48 hours. The person who is alleged to make the comment or the Facebook post is not on duty for the next 48 hours.
And then the next question is, how many Blacks work for the fire department at this time?
To my knowledge, we have 1. And you know what? One of the best employees we've ever hired.
Then the next question is the person who made these comments on paid leave for the next 48 hours?
The person is not scheduled for the next 48 hours, so there's been no action as far as on a paid leave or not paid leave. The investigation we wrapped up before the next duty shift.
As a Meridian Township resident, I reported a crime and was treated with tremendous disrespect by the police officer taking the complaint. This, coupled with the incident with the firefighter, has concerned me about the public safety officers and leaderships. What's being done to address the bigger picture?
Well, I'd be happy for that person to contact myself, Chief Plaga, directly, and we'll look into and investigate what happened in that occurrence. I've been here 7 years, and I'm proud of the efforts of our police department. We do not get complaints about racial inequities in the community from our police department. If we do, they're going to be dealt with very seriously. And I would respectfully ask the caller to contact us and let us investigate that.
The next one is, maybe officials of the township should just say that you're working to be more inclusive and welcoming, instead of just stating it, not received as authentic, when you all keep saying we are a welcoming community.
You know, we're taking every step we can. And again, the examples that we're doing as a community, I would like the person to take a look at how many communities are doing what we're doing to become more diverse in some of the things that I've talked about. And again, I'm not saying that we're perfect, and we're always looking to get better, but we're taking some pretty bold steps here to increase our diversity, because we are an inclusive community. We're very diverse. It's what we're known for, and we're very proud of it, and we want to get better.
The next question is regarding the shift. You've actually already answered that. Black Lives Matter Lansing has been calling for defunding of the Lansing police. Has Meridian Township considered doing the same?
We are going to hold a community policing discussion in August. And I know that we've had excellent training in our police department, and we continue to want to expand that. We want to expand our diversity efforts. And no, we are not talking about defunding our police department.
The next one is, will there be an announcement made when this investigation is complete and what the consequences for this individual will be?
There'll be a future press conference, and that will be held within 48 hours shortly after the completion of the investigation. The reason we're here today is it would have been really the easy road to not come forward, not bring this out, and hope maybe no one notices. That's not what Meridian Township is all about. We're about being open and transparent. We're diverse. We want to be better, and we're going to take steps to get there. This is not the soul of our community, what has occurred in the last 24 hours. So I can assure you that by coming forward, rest assured that we're going to make sure once the investigation is complete and due process, we're going to make sure that all of you are aware of the findings. We felt it was better to come forward today and let everyone know what has occurred rather than hide behind the truth. We're not about that. We're better than that.
If this person is found to have been racist / discriminatory, is their professional life after this investigation? What can you tell us about what the disciplinary action will be? Will it just be desk duty, slap on the wrist, then back in action? What is the actual penalty if they are found guilty? What will be the punishment?
Well, the punishment will fit whatever has occurred. We've got to let the investigation be completed, which is going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. I expect it to be wrapped up by Friday. And whatever the outcome of that investigation is, I can assure you that what the outcome will match whatever has occurred. Right now it's alleged, but we're going to complete our investigation within 24 to 48 hours and then take action.
If there's only one Black employee, how many Hispanic in the fire department and police department?
I'm not aware exactly of those numbers, but I know that we have at least one or two Hispanic in the fire department and potentially two in the fire department. And I think 3 in the police department. 3, yeah, Chief Plaga. So we have 2 in the fire, 3 in the police.
How often does someone have to go through diversity and inclusion training or other training that helps with de-escalation and combating racial bias?
I believe that we go through that. Chief Plaga will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we go through that every 2 years and on initial hire.
What are these bold steps the township manager is speaking of?
Well, the bold steps that we've taken that you won't find in many communities is we're actually going out and searching on our own rather than if we wait in law enforcement for minority candidates to apply, we'll be down to 0%. The state of Michigan, state troopers cannot locate minorities. I think in the current trooper class, there's less than 10 minorities. Every department is struggling with this, whether you're the city of Lansing, Michigan State Police, it's a challenge. So we're not sitting back and waiting for that to come to us. We're actually going out and looking for minority candidates and paying for them to go to the academy. It's several thousands of dollars to go to the academy. For us to put someone through the academy and pay their wages is between $15,000 and $20,000. What we could do is we could just go hire someone who's been through the academy at no cost. So instead of doing that, we're putting $20,000 up to help a minority candidate reach law enforcement. And perhaps we need to start doing that on the fire side and putting them through firefighter 1 and 2 and the paramedic school, which is extremely expensive. We have taken bold steps because we're welcoming and diverse, and we'll continue to take them whatever way we possibly can. We're good, but we're gonna get better.
Next one is thank you, Chief Plaga, for your commitment to build trust with our community. You have been an active member of ALPACT and are very much appreciated. Moving on, I feel as though we have been several instances of targeted racial injustices in Meridian Township, but not reported because of perceived no action or fall upon deaf ears. It is good to know there is a mechanism to record instances and there will be a follow-up.
I hope everyone knows I would hope they would have known before this press conference, but certainly following this press conference, that if anyone feels maligned, injustice at the result of our law enforcement, our fire department, who, by the way, are first-class departments, the people in our community appreciate them, applaud their efforts. But if there is an act of injustice or racial discrimination or bias, we want to know about it. That's why we're here today. And we'll continue to be here 5 years from now. It's all in steps to get better. And we can't get better if people don't let us know about those situations that may have occurred.
As a faculty member at MSU, what assurances can you give me and other faculty and staff at MSU that our student populations of color will not be retaliated against by other municipal officers, police, fire, etc., while they are in Meridian Township, if the outcome is not a positive one for the individual in question?
Well, as I've stated, and I hope I've been clear, any acts of injustice, any acts of racial discrimination shall be reported immediately to the leadership at Meridian Township. Myself, Chief Plaga, Chief Hamill, the Township Board. We don't sit idle for those kind of injustices if they're occurring. Again, it's been a long time since I've heard of a racial bias claim in Meridian Township. It doesn't fit how we operate, but we welcome and we want to solve these issues if they arise, but we don't know about them unless they're reported. That's why we have body cameras. That's why we have cameras in our car and all sorts of other things, because we want to be that police department that people look up to, and the same with our fire department.
Next question is, it's clear that the township is discriminating against whites and males in their hiring practices. How does the supervisor not consider this institutionalized racism and sexism?
Well, we don't discriminate against whites and we don't discriminate against blacks. We're going out trying to hire the best people we can, but it's also important that our community, our law enforcement agency, and our fire department be reflective of the community that we serve. And right now we're not there. So there is no reverse discrimination going on within our police department or fire department.
Next question is, where exactly does one report instances of a perceived racial injustice? Phone call, online, email, where exactly?
All of those. They can call Meridian Township, they can call the police chief, the fire chief, myself. They can email the police chief, the fire chief, or myself. There's lots of ways to do that.
Next one is, thank you for coming forward. I know it's tough because not everyone does it. Much appreciated.
We're here because we're not going to hide, and our soul's been stained. And I feel very bad about that.
Next question is, besides meeting diverse candidates in restaurant stores, has the township developed a strategic diversity recruitment plan?
We have a plan. The plan includes going to job fairs, going out into the community, attending the academies ourselves. We go to the academies and try to recruit directly from them. We have a broad range of ideas and concepts that our HR department uses. And for the last 4 years, we've been very successful, but we need to get better. And again, if you're like most police departments in Michigan, if you wait around in the academy and you're waiting around to hire minorities, you'll never get there. You have to find different avenues to do that. And that's what our township board, that's what our staff is doing, a very broad-based approach.
Thank you for addressing this matter head on and recognizing that the behavior in question was inappropriate. Your handling of this scenario is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. It was more than, if the alleged occurrence is true, it was more than inappropriate. And as a community, we feel really bad about that. This is not who we are.
And we have just a few questions, and I'm seeing questions pop up from the same people. So we'll ask people to please limit to one, but we'll see if we can wrap these last few questions up. Looking at the press conference where all 5 faces we are seeing are 5 white males, yet we are saying how diverse we are, it is really not excellent optics. Meridian Township, we must do better than this. Just saying we are welcoming is not enough.
We have our leadership here. There are other people I could have had in uniform to be here. I didn't want to stage an event. I want to be true. I want to be open. And yeah, this is our leadership team in the police and fire department.
And then the next one is someone asking if we can get introductions for the people who we're talking with today, who's on the screen.
Chief Ken Plaga, who's been with us for 24 years, Chief Mike Hamill, who's been a fire chief for 2 years, and Ron Styka, who's been in public service for 30 years and has been on the township board, forest supervisor, and forest trustee. Dan Opsimer was on earlier. He's a trustee. He's been on the board for 4 years, and I'm not sure who else might have been on there from the board.
How do you evaluate whether your DEI trainings are effective? Who leads them? What metrics or evaluations are in place? Who is guiding and providing perspective and insight?
Chief Plaga.
Trainings are typically provided through outside vendors that are subject matter experts in the area. We partner quite a bit with Michigan State University and their Office of Inclusion to get these trainings, and we make sure that our folks, the evaluation process is very difficult, other than you can look at the facts and data that come up over the years as far as complaints and things, but we don't have an actual matrix that show how effective these trainings are.
And then the final question that we have, was your statement on all lives matter unconscious, implicit, or explicit, and a way to satisfy those who do not believe in just Black Lives Matter?
I'm not sure I understand the question, but absolutely, of course, all lives matter. That's why we try to recruit all different types of people to Meridian Township. And if you look at the picture, if you just take a snapshot of Meridian Township, you would see that all lives matter, because we're a very diverse community here. So I thank everyone for being here today. I think that wraps up all our questions. I appreciate those questions, the probing questions. All I can say is that we're going to complete this investigation and take the appropriate action, and we'll report back to our findings. And I'm proud of Meridian Township, and I'm proud of our police and fire department. And we owe a very sincere and heartfelt apology to Black Lives Matter and to our community. Thank you very much.